Assistive technology and blindness product specialist.
I'll try and remember that.
Or assistive technology mentor.
Mentor. That sounds better. Alrighty, people. We'll get started in around 10 seconds or so. I know everyone wants to stay and chat, and we've got lots of different stories to tell and things to share with each other, which is probably one of the most stronger parts of today, is that you can share what you know with other people, and I think that's one of the things I've found through a lot of groups that I belong to, is that sharing of information is the way we all find out about it. And you know, I've got to say, I've got to put my hat on here for Blind Sports WA. You know, just through the amount of different sporting groups that are around, and some that I belong to and some I go and attend and all that sort of stuff, just listening to some of those things that people talk about how they use their phone or their device or whatever they do, it's just amazing. And you pick up so many different things. You're, oh, I didn't realise that. And it's also about, you know, things like NDIS. We all share stories about it, and it's great. So it's one of the best ways. Just before I hand over to Manny, I've got to say we are really fortunate these days that we're in a society where we don't carry around anymore 10 or so more devices. Because I remember going back a good 30 years or so, when I was just sort of graduating high school sort of stuff, and we used to have to carry around a GPS, and then we carried around a phone. We had a cassette recorder or something like that. We used to have to carry around a different braille device or something like that, and then a laptop, and then, you know, it was just, you had so much to pack into your bag each day, never mind the power board and all the power adapters and all the batteries to go with it and the spare backup batteries and everything. These days, it's all in your hand in one device. We've got our storybook reader, we've got our magnifier, we've got our scanner, we've got our navigational aid, we've got a voice recorder, we've got a phone, we've got absolutely everything in one hand. And it's just, for me, it's been such a revolution to be able to use one device that does everything for me. And it's like losing a hand when you lose your phone. It really is. It's shocking. Anyway, I'm going to hand you over to Manny now, our assistive tech mentor, he said to say, because the other one was too long. It's over to you, Manny.
Thank you, Ryan. Okay. Oh, sorry, I just touched something there on the...
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Oh no, you hit the self-destruct.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys some information about visibility services. And then Maria, just to assist me if I miss something along the way. So visibility, we have different services for blind and vision impaired clients. What we do, we have a CAC, which is a community activity center. So we have different activities here, example, pottery, mosaic, cooking class. We have music group. So we have 2 music groups. One is music performance, where we get together and practice, and then we perform. So at Christmas carols, open days, things like that. And then we have another music group session, which is music appreciation, where some people come to visibility and perform, like a few artists perform, and then we just listen to them. And then the other one, we have handicraft. We've also got the woodwork. So those who are interested in doing woodwork, we have woodwork. And we have the, is it fitness?
So, and we've got the
exercise physio
timetable for you outside. So if anyone does want to pick up the Community Activity Centre timetable, I've made copies available out the door, just as you go out the door back into the foyer. Your question was pottery, did you say? Or
so,
woodwork? Yes.
Woodwork. Italian. And then Italian. Yep, we got Italian class.
And the art studio.
Art studio, it's like painting. Yep. Using your feeling.
Pottery. I actually will say that the exercise, because in our gym is the coolest place in the building myself.
So we have exercise physiologists, is it?
We do have
Yep,
exercise
exercise
physiologists and a
physiologist.
personal trainer.
Yep, personal trainer for those who wants to keep fit during this COVID pandemic. And we have our library services and Braille transcription services, Easy English service. What else? We have Braille trainings, sighted, Braille for sighted also.
Alongside, yeah.
Yep, and then we have O&M. Now, the one that just come up is just night O&M orientation and mobility training. The night O&M training.
Yes, so I've got the brochure here. Just bring that up as well. Oh, Manny, you know, and the OTs groups. So the night O&M course, specifically, actually, we know that there's a number of eye conditions, of course, that particularly impede, you know, vision even further in dim and dark and dreary place. So during particular months of the year, so I believe the next night course is running from the 2nd of August, and it runs from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes.
Weekly for 6 sessions. So if that's something that you feel like you want to know a bit more about or want to increase work on your night travel skills,
please contact us. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I've left again a handout, a brochure.
Yeah, a brochure.
On the table out the side.
Can I ask a question on that?
Of course.
The email that was sent out about that, it said to be qualified for the night one, you need to have done a full O&M training before.
So it says...
I haven't. I've just had a session with Hasma.
Right.
When I got this new cane.
Right, yeah.
In the day, but at night I'm leaving blind, so I don't go out much. But
Right.
totally blind, I mean, when I'm in the day.
Yes, yep.
So I don't particularly want to do the whole O&M thing. I just want to think about the night version.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
And you know, look, one-on-one training is always available as well. So, you know, maybe that's more your cup of tea.
For the NDA's budget.
Yes.
Correct, yep. Yes.
You could still attend the night course if you've already done a session with Hasma.
Yeah.
Just one session, yeah.
Well, it'd be worth giving him a call.
And having a chat.
That's right, yeah, having a chat with Asma. Yeah.
With our, always, you know, if in doubt, just start with our sort of intake client experience team will sort of help you navigate, you know, your way if that's required, if you're not able to reach the O&M or so forth.
Yes. And then the next one, we have social work services.
Ah.
Yep, that's you.
And Kirby, is she in the room? Kirby? Do you want to come up? Come up. We didn't get to introduce you earlier. And of course, notwithstanding our paediatric service, but Kirby is our social worker as well, and works across paediatrics as well as adults. So what did you want to say about our service?
So what do you assist people with?
Well, I think primarily, so you do have a budget, so you can use services. So obviously people naturally start with needing some assistance in getting on board with their funding supports primarily, I think.
Yep. How about counselling?
To say? Yes.
And counselling also?
Yes.
If you have difficulty like depression because of your disability, you know.
Thank you, Manny. I feel like this is a nice sort of TV couch sort of interview here. Welcome to the Letterman Show.
Welcome to Manny Show.
There you go. Look, indeed, and I think we fit very much in that psychosocial sphere. Hence the involvement in peer support, kind of the importance of peer support, and how that, and what we find quite commonly, of course, that's probably the realm as to, you know, that underpins the why people might want to be interested in engaging, therefore, in all the other services that psychosocial of, the importance of connecting to others, how you feel about yourself, interpersonal relationships. Feel free to jump in if I'm missing anything that you think should be said. But I just see that so clearly. A lot of people like this is a sort of underpinning. Oh, yeah, that's why I need to go get my O&M and my low vision workshop at a low vision clinic too.
Yes.
And the assistive technology and the occupational therapy.
So this one is one of the services that help you get back on your feet. Yep. Despite of disability, you can do anything else.
Well, I mean, at least you hopefully don't have to journey.
That's right.
Alone. And I think our services very much, would you say, comes into play when something changes for people, whether it is their vision loss or their stage of life, or even their funding. It's like, oh well, I did have, and now it's changed. It's like, oh dear, what do we do now? So then at least hopefully the team can walk alongside you as best as we can within our limitations, I think.
Absolutely, yep.
Can I ask a question? This is really quick. The cafe, is that ever open?
That is a good question.
Good question.
It was planned.
Yep, there was planned, but at the moment there is no cafe. But we have the coffee van coming around every Tuesday and Thursdays. Yep. So
is that by popular demand? Reopen the cafe, please.
Well, I would like to see it back there because it really should be there. It really should be there.
Correct.
I don't know why you don't approach some like TAFE or someone. I mean, Esther House, I think, was thinking of coming in. Just, as a training thing, and they learn skills and we get service.
That sort of probably dovetails beautifully, just say, Manny, into our into the employment service, COACT, because I know they set up a pop-up cafe, because you talked about their giving experience and so forth. That's really great feedback. That was really popular.
I know that if you approach some TAFE on a hospitality, whatever, and get them to do it.
Get them to run it.
Yeah, to run it.
The vision. We love vision.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, make a note of that one.
Yep. So we have employment service to assist people that has
looking for work.
That's right. Yeah.
Returning back into
correct.
work.
Yep.
Getting prepared for work.
Even traineeship. They can look. That's right. It's a COACT. Yep.
COACT. I don't know if anyone's sort of using their services, but something to be aware of.
That's right, even for your work experience, stuff like that, they can assist. Yep. And
I find also when people again have that change of circumstance and they might want to, or they might feel like they need to reconsider their job or career direction. It's like, oh, I thought I was going to, or I have been, and now my vision's changed. What do I do now? So for me, it's about trying to get that professional support around you as best as we can. Ageism is alive and well, to boot.
I spent maybe 3 years doing my house, and then, I'll register as a job seeker and see if I can get 15 hours a week. And I only applied for about 6 jobs. But I got like 90% of the jobs I applied for when I was younger. And I didn't even get an interview, and I addressed all the criteria. So they can tell by looking at your resume, this bloke's in his 60s. And get done. So I just unregistered. I was with that work Australia, a desk provider, and I can tell you they're useless as
And you know what? And it sounds almost like there's a whole session right there, isn't it?
That's right.
I think.
Correct. Yep.
I was really keen to also. We haven't talked about our children's and youth services.
Yep. We've got children and youth services also.
And playgroup. So the brochures are out there again.
And then we have therapy services. Like Living Well.
Yes, with the OT groups as well. Again, there's another brochure out there I'll pick up in a second. Rebecca Combershort, our senior OT, runs. So attending in Living Well, of course.
Living well, yeah.
Services in a group format. So again, one-on-one is one option, and if you're keen to sort of be part of it as a group,
As a
small
group.
format,
You're also welcome.
that's available. I'll grab the brochure. Here we go. So the OT groups she runs, cooking skills for beginners is one. Oh, just started on the 1st of July.
Wow, cooking skills for beginners, yep.
Sorry, I was wondering if my son would make comment about that. Bless your socks, you didn't say anything about cooking skills for beginners.
Yep.
Competent living program, previously known as Living Well.
Living well. That's like with daily.
What was that?
The,
I said you better send our dad to the cooking skills.
I'm
Yes.
recording this. I love it. Look good, feel good without sight.
Yes.
Is also really.
is that like something to do with if you have problem with makeup, things like that? Is it?
Correct. Yeah. Have you ever struggled? It says already for you. Have you ever struggled to find what you were looking for in your wardrobe? Oh, that means something else, doesn't it? Apply makeup or
Yeah.
know how you put things together to look confident about your outfit. That flatters you. So looking good, feeling confident.
Yep.
Dining skills.
Dining skills, yep. Okay, so we got dining skills, a group.
And please feel free to pick up one of these handouts if that will help you.
Correct, yep.
We'll speak to our client experience
Client experience team, yep.
The I was hoping you might talk a bit more about your and the iDevice groups. I know
Okay.
this session is.
So we have the iDevice group every Monday from 1 to 2. You have to register with us through CET, Clients Experience Team. And in this group, basically like people come in and then they have issue with the Apple products or Android or Braille related product. So we will attend to one question at a time, and then we will go around. You, yeah.
Like some of the questions we had in the audience.
That's
just
right. Yeah,
before the break.
it's just
It's
like
I
that. Yeah.
can't get my phone to stop talking when it's it's talking.
That's
like
right.
Those sort of tips. So if you
That's
yes.
right.
So if you're experiencing.
That's the iDevice Clinic group on Monday from 1 till 2. And then we have assistive technology department. So we are doing trainings for all assistive software like ZoomText Fusion, Guide Connect, JAWS, Supernova, and so on.
And sometimes you'll go into the workplace as well.
That's right,
Go
yes.
to many,
So
yeah.
I had a few questions about job access this morning.
Okay.
So for people that have disability and then working, we have a service called job access. That's from the government. Once you submit your request to job access, we do assessment at your workplace, and then any AT related equipments that you need, we will put it in our report and then put it through to the government.
Because visibility is on the National Panel of Assessors.
That's
so
right.
Job access will. Is this new news?
Yes,
too?
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're hearing it. Yeah. Yes, still around.
That's right. Yep. Job access.
Even impaired social worker mate has just started working there a couple of months ago.
Ah.
Really, really good that they took on someone with vision impairment.
My ear, you just piqued
yes.
my interest
Yep,
in
yep.
the network. I love that.
Yep. Yes.
And so they have a workplace modification. They run the
That's right.
employee assistance.
The work
used to be
mods, yeah.
called, it used to be called the workplace mod. So I'm glad that that's a news.
That's right. And then just keep in mind, it's different than NDIS. So this is totally different. This is when you are working. And then NDIS is just for your personal home stuff. So got nothing to do with job access.
And they don't interrelate really either. So some people are a bit concerned, but if I go down this path, how would it affect my income support to my NDIS plan? They're actually separate, different programs. Right. So that's pretty reassuring.
That's right.
Do we have any other questions?
They did in the 90s. If you changed employer, you got your equipment through job access. If you changed employers, you couldn't take your gear with you. Now it belongs to you and it goes with you wherever you go.
Absolutely.
That's right. Yep.
I've still got my stuff in Centrelink, so.
And it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So the item belongs to you. Yep.
That's right. Yep. Correct. And then the Assistive Technology Department provides some trainings, NDIS assessment, if you're needing some IT devices. And we also do one-to-one coaching, like training in terms of your software, any IT devices. And also we do Braille trainings and the things that related to IT. Yeah.
And you know who we shouldn't forget,
Yep.
I think, before we leave the topic of services and
Yep.
Don't let me cut you off, there was more about AT, but our youth officer, of course.
Youth officer. Yep.
Yeah, as part of our...
He's not here.
He's not here. Also known as Ryan.
That's right. Yep. Yes.
Does anyone have any queries, I think, on... Was there anything else?
Any questions in regards to our services?
Emmanuel,
Yes, Sinead, sorry.
Sorry, Sinead,
yeah,
we'll just...
would I be able to add in something when you guys are ready?
Yeah, and
Yes.
Sinead, we've got a question from the audience too, so
Okay.
you might even be able to help answer that too.
I've got a question about your Braille. Is it an idea to start learning Braille before you lose your vision completely, or is it something that you would wait until?
So I will learn before I lose my vision.
The question was, yeah, is it helpful to learn Braille before,
That's right.
if you know you've got declining vision, yeah?
That's
and,
right.
And before you lose your vision.
Before you lose it, you just equip yourself with the
In prep.
skill. Yep. Just take one step at a time. You know, you don't rush it. So if you lose your vision completely, and then you'll be like forced to learn it. See, it's like you're not prepared, and then I have to, able to read Braille. It's just for me. Before you lose it, you just start learning it.
So why do you have to learn it?
Some people they prefer.
He tells you everything now anyway. Mobile phone with Siri and
That's
and so on.
That's right.
the age old.
Correct. Yeah. Some people they prefer audible. Some people they prefer tactile. Like I just want to be able to read like other sighted person read, so I can read my Braille without any distraction from the audio.
And you
feedback.
made me smile actually with that question, because that was always the age-old argument, even within can you believe the WA Education Department of, I think, there was talk about Braille being defunct, and it's like, hang on a minute, that's literacy. It's literacy for young people. So it's an interesting thought and debate, definitely. Yeah, because there are ways of accessing information that we never were around before, indeed.
Yep, Maria, we have a question there. Yeah.
Maria, also when you're playing games with sighted people, like cards,
Braille cards,
Correct.
you
Yeah.
know, the game, Monopoly and all that.
That's right. Yep.
Scrabble, like you can join in.
That's right.
For the,
Correct. Yep.
So that, can I repeat that, Kerry? Kerry was pointing out that it's, when you're playing games with other people, she finds it. So I guess horses for courses, if that's something that works for you and you're keen, it'd be great. It's not a must do, but
That's right.
Sinead, sorry, you wanted to add something.
Yeah, I was just thinking it might be helpful if I just elaborated a little bit on the occupational therapy service and in terms of it tying in with assistive technology. So with the occupational therapy, one of our main focuses is setting goals with people, and whether those goals tie into needing to work more closely with assistive technology or prescribing specific devices to assist them achieve those goals. That's where I guess I sit in the assistive technology department, is working with your current OT, but then if you have more specific goals with assistive technology, we can work out what apps or what devices you might need, and then working with your funding, your NDIS funding, to apply to get those devices, and then learning how to use them. So what Emmanuel was talking about with the training. So if you find all of that a little bit overwhelming, I highly recommend an assistive technology appointment, and then we can work with you to sorry, my child, to help you figure out where to go and like sort of hold your hand through that process, because it can be a bit overwhelming. And I just thought some of the clients there today asking the questions you've asked, that's definitely something that we could help you with, you know, exploring the TV guides and reading to your children and those specific goals. So, yeah, I just thought reach out to us and we can definitely help.
I have to agree that some of those questions a little earlier, I thought, oh, it sort of sounds like some individual goal setting. I'm aware at the time, it is 12:05. I just want to check in with everyone. I intend to run till 12:30. Yep, is that cool?
All good.
Okay.
Yep.
All good.
Okay.
Were there any last things, Manny, that you needed?
I think that's all from our services.
In a nutshell?
Yep, that's That's right. Yep, we have the shop online and in the premises here. So
An IT help desk?
so we've got assistive technology inbox. So you can send us an email or call reception, and then reception will pass your inquiry, and then we will attend to it. Yeah.
Right.
So we have the assistive technology help desk. Yeah. Correct.
Vision Australia have a group assistive technology phone line.
Yeah, they got one.
Yeah, they do, and it's quite good. People that run very good.
I got the second most recent version of Intex 2021. And it sucks. Whereas the previous models, you program it so, you know, you're always in the centre of the screen.
Yes.
And it keeps darting off somewhere else all the time.
Yes.
And then you get disorientated and you think, where am I going? You know, especially in Facebook, trying to read a text and up you go, up there somewhere. And I think my settings are the same as they always have been.
Yep. Yes. So. Yes. Right. Yep.
So I must do this one.
Yes. So that's technology for us.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like trial and error. Okay. Now.
We're going to run out of time.
Yep. So the next one, Maria is going to talk about the scam. Okay. Internet scam.
We thought this might open a can of worms, but bear with me. Thank you for everyone taking the trip out and joining us, like I said, online, and all of our guest speakers. Unfortunately, this is a topic that I couldn't pass up this opportunity in this forum to bring up safe online. And I said unfortunately because, you know, we are aware that this has come up in real life for some people we know. So I thought, let's open a conversation. I'm not going to be overly detailed, and given our lovely audio visuals not playing anything on the big screen behind us, I'm not even going to play the short video that I found, but I will send out the link. And I think this will be a start of many short conversations. I think that certainly Visibility are keen to provide or make available as we can create the opportunities for. When I say safe online, internet scams do happen, unfortunately, and we want our community obviously to be as safe online as you know, as we can all be, and not fall victim to such scams. I wanted to you know, we also want all of us to use our technologies safely. So I'd like to take this opportunity to provide you with some key points for us to look at more ways how to keep safe. Awareness, I believe, is the first step, hence opening the conversation. This will be brief, and I suspect there might be some discussion afterwards, but we might run out of time. So, as I said, please look out for more opportunities. I know in our community activity centre that we are certainly keen to provide like a Friday afternoon chat, and we might even bring in some external guest speakers as a response to this topic. I want to very briefly, and I've brought my phone up to keep me on time, and we need 5 minutes to just do some thanks at the end. Talk about, well, what do we mean by cyber, or when I say safe online, I'm actually referring to cybercrime, or what the Australian Federal Police call cybercrime.
Yep.
I'm only going to touch on 3 aspects. Can everyone hear me okay? Yep,
Yes.
okay. And what we mean, what should you do if you're affected, and some very brief, simple tips on what I mean by increasing your safety, and we'll make some resources available. So firstly, from the Australian Federal Police, what they define cyber crime as is 2 things, simply crimes being crimes that are directed at computers and or other information communication technologies. So that's when your device is being attacked, is how I understand that. But secondly, crimes that are committed, such as online fraud, so crimes that are committed using those technologies. Or that the information technologies are part of that offence. So that's what they simply mean as cybercrime. There's actually there was a whole list, and I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm going to focus and just introduce 3. And bear with me while I just read this, because I liked it, and I just wanted to. This is from the Federal Police. Just as the internet and other modern technologies are opening up tremendous possibilities, they also provide opportunities for criminals to commit crimes to individuals, businesses and governments, whilst concealing their activities. So it certainly has 2 things. It gives access, and by the way, online criminals can commit crimes across multiple borders and in an instant, and can target a large number of victims simultaneously. So if we think about that, the boundaries have gone in terms of borders, geographical borders, that's what I mean, and it's not one person at a time either, and their activities can be concealed. So the 3 types of crime that I wanted to just touch on is number 1, hacking, number 2, identity theft, and number 3, scam. So hacking is simply, now bear with me if this is, if you're already au fait with all of this, but if you'll entertain me, hacking simply refers to unauthorised access of a system or a network, often to exploit the system's data and or manipulate its normal behaviour. So, and everyone will have an example, but one example was people having their Facebook hacked and then controlled, and then people not realising that, say, if I had my Facebook hack and and say my friends are receiving direct messages from me, and I'm totally unaware of it, and they don't know that it's not me. That's one real life example of, not mine, but of a hack. Identity theft, obviously when someone gains access to your personal information to steal money or gain other benefits. They can create a fake identity documents in your name to get loans and other benefits, or apply for real identity documents in your name but with another person's photograph. So how do you know if your identity has been stolen? Here are some simple tips from government. Oh, by the way, not only was it the Australian Federal Police, but I'm looking at the Australian Cyber Security website, and I also wanted to mention ScamWatch, but I'll mention those resources a bit later as well, or send them out to you. So how do you know if your identity has... So do please keep your ID as secure as you can. So some warning signs might be, your bank statements show some unusual activity, maybe some transactions that you didn't make, so it's good to keep an eye on those things. Secondly, you stop receiving the normal mail you normally expect, whether that be utility bills or the like. Or conversely, you start receiving bills for things you didn't purchase. Fourthly, government agency might inform you that you are receiving a government benefit that you never applied for. Fifthly, you are refused credit because of your poor credit history you are unaware of. And lastly, you might be contacted by debt collectors. That's pretty that would be a terrible surprise. And I'll go through some tips on what to do for hacking and identity theft. But before I do, the third area was online scams. So an online scam is a sophisticated message often used. It kind of looks very professional. It looks very official. It's designed to con. So it might have, you know, a well-known brand's logo or a government department, that sort of thing. A scam, but it's designed to make it difficult for you to realise that it's fake. So a scam message can be sent to you via email, SMS, dating sites, social networking sites, instant messaging, or even through video phone communication such as Skype or FaceTime. Wow. And you can look at, like I said, my conversation today is meant to be a conversation starter, but so there's lots more detail we can sort of expand into the future sessions. But Scam Watch would be a government department where you can actually look into, and we can look into what's the current sort of scam and how they trick us. I'm going to just move a bit further because we're running out of time. But what to do if you believe you've been caught up in any of those, hacking, identity theft, and by the way, there is a government department called ID Care, as in ID, identity, and they are a free government service that will assist you if you feel like you have got a problem with someone stealing your ID, which is important to know. What was the other one? The scam. So what to do? You need to lodge a report with the Australian Cyber Security Centre. Yeah. I had to do that. We had to do that recently, and it was online. So it has to be done, and that does get referred to the police, the West Australian Police, who will then investigate it. But it won't be slow. The video I wanted to show did actually talk about, look, don't expect that you know, scams and etc. are only for the unaware. You know, they can be very, very clever. So you know, have your wits about you, and don't do it alone. So report, talk. The second thing you need to do is, oh no, actually, I'm going to go back one. I'd say stop engaging immediately.
That's right.
Yeah. Firstly, and secondly, please make a report. Police, cyber, and the Australian Cyber Security Centre. You'll also need to make you know, if you've been involved in anything financial, you've, you know, had some money taken, or you've given money, or what have you, please don't buy other people gift cards unless you're truly sure. And, you know, if you are getting a direct message or something like that, or a contact for someone you think you know, ring them, speak to them face to face. Don't rely on electronic communication only. Is this you? Are you all right? The other thing that I read is quite common is there'll be a sense of urgency. You know, quick, I really need this gift card. Please buy it for me and take a photo and send it to me, that kind of thing. Real sense of urgency. Money's usually involved. You know, I want your money, I want your ID, that kind of thing. So the second thing, after you've disengaged, you've got some support around you, don't keep it to yourself, share it with someone so you're not going, I mean, it's obviously a very emotional time, and you've been shocked. Contact your lender, your bank. Definitely contact your bank immediately. Like if there's been a transaction, you want that stopped, you want that reversed if possible. Sometimes that, but otherwise the reality is you probably will never get the funds back, is the short of it. ID Care, again, I mentioned, so do get in touch with ID Care to help you secure your identification, and of course report to Scam Watch. If there's been income support involved, like you know, contact Centrelink, you know, get some assistance from them. Let them know if you feel like someone's stolen your ID and they may have, you know, contacted Centrelink pretending to be you or something.
Yep. Also contact your bank. Because
yes.
recently I got this message from NAB. It's saying your account has been blocked due to suspicious activity.
Okay.
So I haven't done anything. So I call up my bank, and then the bank said they investigated for like 15 minutes. They said nothing, no compromise there, sir.
Good.
So everything is good to go. So just use the common sense. If you receive like SMS, text SMS, emails, if it's not making sense, just delete them. Don't respond to it. Don't click anything.
Great.
Yeah, and then
tips.
don't give out your cards, your password, your username, your
Yes.
credentials to people.
So the tips that, in addition to that, is certainly, particularly in terms of hacking, install your antivirus software, keep them updated.
That's right.
Keep your devices
up to date.
updated. Yep, up to date. Getting back to your passwords, use strong passwords. I know they're
That's
annoying,
right, yeah.
and the thing that annoys me the most, but that's what the very key,
Yes.
very key suggestion is, unfortunately, use those two-step verification
Yep.
that we all find
That's
so
right.
annoying. That's why they exist. Smartphones are so convenient. So convenient. We, like you said, we can't do without them. I can't do without mine, but potentially, most risky as well. So you need to know to keep that safe. Back up your data. And the last point is to safe online browsing. So in terms of following links, downloading apps, installing that sort of thing. That was actually the first thing when I rang the cybersecurity. The question was, has the person clicked on any links? So what to do is you'll need to obviously reset all of your passwords, even do a factory reset if possible, which is where your backup really helps. If you've got everything backed up, you won't think twice of doing a factory reset on your devices. And changing all your passwords, I think, is the real. You might have some extra. I think I'm going to leave it there in a nutshell. There is an Office of the E-Safety Commissioner. There is, and there's a website called Think, for the young folks. Think as in think U, the letter U, and KNOW. So I'll share those resources. Does anyone have any queries or make any
Maybe
other?
I'll give you some tips again.
Yes, please.
If you're not familiar with the call coming into your devices, don't pick it up. Or if you by accident pick it up, just do not engage with them.
It's really interesting because the amount of people that haven't taken my call because they didn't recognise my number, though, and
Yep.
it's tricky, isn't it?
If it's an important call, they will leave message, a clear message, then you get back to them. If it's the number that you're not familiar with, ignore. That's what
Like
I've
a
been doing.
very long overseas number.
That's it. Overseas numbers, even overseas numbers. Even like people's saying that they are from taxation, but with Indian accent. So I just say, me no English. That's all. Yeah.
This really kind of thought, that's salt in your wounds, isn't it? The other bit of advice was, watch out now. If you have been scammed, they might cut. The follow-up scam is, we will help you recover your lost funds. Was the Australian Cybersecurity's advice? Is please hear that with a huge warning sign.
That's right.
2 minutes. Yes. Yeah.
Look at the URL.
Yeah.
If it hasn't got some of them, like MyGov scam. MyGov is mygov.gov.au.
Yes.
And the scams are mygov.either.com or org.
Correct. Yep.
Attention. Yeah.
Yep.
And some of them will duplicate the headings and everything.
Correct.
Really well.
Yep.
Hope we can come together again to
That's
continue
right.
the conversation. Thank you for letting me take up that last amount of time. And I think if I can invite everyone in the room that's brought this together, our team up on stage, Daniel, Lynn, is Magda still in the room? Purvi,
Ryan, Judy.
Ryan, Judy. Yep. I feel like the team needs to take a little bow, and I think Lynn has kindly. Thank you, darling.
That's right, mate.
All right.
One last question.
Yes.
This has got nothing to do with outside security. When are they having the next chef dinner, lunch here?
There is a Christmas in July planned
On the
for
26th.
the 26th. Yes, thank you. So that's coming, yes, at the, in the CAC, or it could be back in the Handle Hall.
Yep.
That's a good question. I don't know the price, but my challenge this week is to try and find some young adults to come along again.
Yeah, and the one with the chefs, they have them at random times.
Yes, yeah. I don't think we've had one this year,
No,
did we?
I don't think you
No.
have.
This is, thank you everyone for coming on stage. You kind of need to come in and kind of squish in, I think, because I wanted to give everyone the idea that.
The lectern camera
And-
won't get us
Yep.
all.
That's all right, we'll squish it. Oh, did
Oh,
you?
yeah, you're on there.
This is who brought you today. We hope it was of value, and we thank you guys for joining us, like I said. From all of us, I think, as you can see, we've got all the way from Curtin Uni student, Jay, and LEI, and Visibility, and my son, Visibility, and Magdalena again, and we've got volunteer as well at the end. So thank you for having us. We will make the recording available as promised. And we've got some.
A special thank you to our speakers, to Judy, to Magda. To Ryan and Maddie.
I don't deserve
There you go, Ryan
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you.
and Manny.
Thank you, Lynn. Yep.
And
Thank you.
one more little one,
Gives us a, so thank you for joining us on
Something
this
with-
Saturday.
small
And,
Samoa.
I'm going to be around sort of packing up by all means. For those that don't need to rush off, feel free to join us for a last cuppa. And Ryan, over to you.
Yeah, no problems. Yeah, no, I'll don't need to do much. Maria's just done it all for me. So I guess just one last thing. When I think about the scam, if I was to put my hand in my pocket right now and say I've got $500, first person up here gets it. How likely do you reckon it is that I've got the $500? Right? You've just been scammed, Maria. So one thing I always say to people, if it seems too good to be true, it is. All right, so just keep that in mind. Thanks everyone for attending today. If you've got any other suggestions as to what you would like us to do, what sort of other ideas like this for a Saturday morning you'd like us to do, or cover, anything like that, please feel free to suggest it. Don't hold back. We'd prefer to know what we're doing and right and what we aren't sort of quite covering. Otherwise, have a good Saturday afternoon. Go to the Dockers.